Hey y'all, back at it again. I know, it's been a while. You see, life has just been a little bit crazy. But listen, I'm back at it again. And yeah, I know all about the 4.0 update. I know all about the 4.1 update. I was gonna do a video on the 4.0 update until the 4.1 came out. And I had other plans in store, like a speed run I was thinking of doing to show my love of the game and to prove I actually know what I'm talking about. I thought about doing another buffs and nerfs video of Sunflora until I realized it got another buff in 4.1. I decided the best thing I could do was just to go back into my roots. Really got me going in this channel. No, not my gameplay. What Pokemon would best to go back to my roots to than the Pokemon that was the root of all Pokemon? That's right, we're going back all the way to the first starter, to number 01 through 03, Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Venusaur. And yo, Venusaur has a pretty special place in my heart. It does get a little bit of a bad rap being called the easy mode of Pokemon Red, Blue, and the Gen 1 games, but honestly, it kind of is. I mean, it beats Brock, Misty, resist against Lightning Link or Surge, resist against Erica. That's something the other starters can't say they do. I mean, Squirtle's the next best option, but it's literally only strong against one of the guys I just mentioned so far. But the real question is it still easy mode in Radical Red? But before we can look at the crazy changes that Radical Red did to Bulbasaur, let's just look at it from a vanilla standpoint. Blastoise is seen as the defensive wall, you know, boasting those solid defenses. Charizard's all about hitting hard. It's got high special attack and high speed. Venusaur is this kind of strange mix in between. It has high special attack and special defense, which you wouldn't really think of this thing as a defensive shield, but trust me, it gets a little bit more crazy than that later on. It was the premier grass type. It was annoying with Leech Seed, Poison Power, Sleep Powder. It had a lot of classic grass moves like Vine Whip, Razor Leaf, Solar Beam. It could even heal itself using the aforementioned Leech Seed or by using Giga Drain. Yeah, it was the perfect grass type. What it isn't is the perfect poison type. Tell me why its only level up poison move is Poison Powder. And it does get another poison move, Toxic by TM. Though to be fair, poison types had it rough back then. By the time Gen 3 rolled around, there was abilities, it had Overgrow. We don't care about that, so we're just gonna move past it. But we get to Gen 4, which actually was the first nerf to the Venusaur line. So how attack and special attack was split up is not through moves, but was through types. So for example, Poison was a physical type, for lack of a better word, and Grass was the special attack type, which was great for Venusaur. It had plenty of grass moves. But with the new Generation 4, all that got messed around. Now if a move had this symbol, it was physical, and if a move had this symbol, it was special. And guess which moves had the attack symbol? It was Vine Whip and Razor Leaf. And when was the very first special move it learned in its learn set? At level 32, Petal Dance, when it evolved into a Venusaur. Yeah, not the greatest. But by this point, there's a TM for Sludge Bomb, so I guess you had another special poison move. Also, a little bit of a weird thing to mention, but looking back through Smogon, a really popular kind of set for Venusaur was a Swords Dance set, which, hey, if nothing else, at least it's interesting. Gen 5, otherwise known as the Weather Wars, Venusaur picked up a really cool hidden ability called Chlorophyll. Chlorophyll doubles your speed in sun. And I remember a long time ago when I was talking about speed boosted by weather-based abilities that, oh yeah, just doubling the base speed would be enough. Turns out it's not, because there's a whole formula and gets even crazier. Don't worry, I'm not gonna make you guys go through all that. I've done the calculations for you guys. So Venusaur's base speed is 80. So if we go up to level 100, no IVs, max IVs for both Venusaur and the opponent Pokemon, and in the sun it becomes a total speed of 392, which, by the way, without any stat buffs, that is beating Ninjask before speed boost. And Venusaur isn't the fastest chlorophyll user, but it was definitely better than Overgrow. Now Generation 6, which was Pokemon X and Y, which brought about the whole age of gimmicks. And how can we forget about the original Kanto stars getting their megas? So going back to how I said, hey, remember how it's weird how Venusaur had like a really good special defense? Well, Mega Venusaur took that and made it better. Yeah, its special attack and special defense improved, which good, it was its bread and butter, but weirdly also its attack and even more its defense. No joke, these defenses are rivaling that of Mega Blastoise. Let that sit in for a second. Also replaced the offensive-minded Chlorophyll to defensive that. So instead of fire and ice moves being super effective against Venusaur, it was only normally effective, making this thing much more tankier and meant to stay longer. Kind of what the grass type felt like back in the day. Just this really annoying thing that just stays on the field like that keeps healing itself and bothering the opponents. After that, sad to say, there's not much else to talk about Venusaur. Yeah, it has a Gigantamax form, but honestly, that's not worth mentioning much. So as a review, Venusaur has this problem where it has physical grass moves for the longest time, no poison moves, and honestly, that's probably some of its biggest problems. I mean, it'll take any other bonuses it can take, but that's kind of the gist of it. Well, let's see what Radical Red does to make this thing a beast. So some took a long look at Venusaur and said, this thing needs more moves that makes sense. So instead of having Vine Whip and Razor Leaf, it was replaced with Magical Leaf and Mega Drain. This small change means that from the start, Bulbasaur can actually use its best stats, which thank goodness for that. Also, finally it learns a damaging poisoning move at level up. At level 15, it learns the move Sludge, which is another 60 power base move. Forgot to mention, Magical Leaf, Mega Drain, Sludge, all 60 base power move, which is decently good, especially for when you get them in the game. Another change, which I believe is a reference to the anime, is Bulbasaur can now learn Dig. But that stuff is boring. What is that Radical Red flare? Look no further than Chlora Blast. Chlora Blast, originally the signature move of Electron Hisuian, deals a massive 120 base power damage at the cost of recoil to the user. And looking at Venusaur / Mega Venusaur versus Electrode Hisuian, it seems Venusaur is definitely the best user of this move. I mean, it has higher special attack, yeah, but if you look at Electrode H's hidden ability in Radical Red, which is Reckless, it actually boosts the power of recoil moves. So even though Venusaur technically is stronger on paper, Electrode just edges it out in damage just a little bit. But hey, is Venusaur still the easy mode option? Oh, no, not even close. Like, I don't talk too much about the gameplay of Radical Red, but listen, Brock now has a Varoom and Archon, which Bulbasaur does not like. And Missy's team is carrying a Clodsire, a Star that knows Psychic, and everyone has some sort of ice move. And those aren't even the first 2 boss battles, they are among the first 4. The first boss battle is against Falkner, who has plenty of flying type Pokemon, and Archer, the third boss battle, has the poison and fire types that just roast Bulbasaur alive. Yeah, despite being a ROM hack of Fire Red, Radical Red is clearly nothing like that game, which I mean we all knew at this point, and though vanilla Bulbasaur will always carry a special place in my heart for being my very first Pokemon, I can't deny it, nostalgia is definitely carrying my love for it more than everything. There's something always a little bit better than it. When it comes to being a grass type starter, Meowscarada and Superior got it beat. Being a mega grass type, Radical Red's Mega Sceptile outdamages it for days. And being a bulky grass type, even though Thick That is interesting and gives it a little bit of a different spin, Theraphorn easily is more useful despite the double weakness to fire. But my only wish for Mega Venusaur is I kind of wish it had some sort of thing to make it more defensive, maybe like a Baneful Bunker or a way to increase its defenses, like with Calm Mind or Withdraw or Cosmic Power, you know? Well, at least Radical Red fixed Venusaur's problems and even added a little something extra with Core Blast. But in the end, it is still very much just Venusaur, so my rating for it is a 1 out of 5. Still the same, but a little bit of change. And with that is the end of my first video in almost a year. I am so sorry again for those of you who have been waiting for me to make video updates on Radical Red and just talking about Radical Red in general. I'm so happy to have people out there that actually enjoy my videos, and I apologize to you guys, but hey, I'm still trying to keep it up, and I'm still keeping track of what Pokemons you guys want to see next, so put them down in the comments, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.